Is Myanmar a place you consider to travel? Well, in this video, I'm gonna talk about all my experiences, everything I know, and the things you should know. Hey, my name is Walter, and on this channel I do a lot of behind the scenes from my shootings, vlogs, tell you about my travel trips and camera reviews. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So let's start with the things you should know. Before I went to Myanmar and I told this to people, they were always like, aren't you scared of the war there? And actually I was like, I don't know, is there a war? And to be honest, there is no war, at least not in the regions you go as a tourist. There may be some conflicts, but you're actually really safe there. The best time to go to Myanmar is from November till March. You should consider going there because there is summertime and all the other months is just the rainy season, so I wouldn't go there. And the last thing you need is a visa to get into the country. It's like $50 online, and you also need 2 copies of your passport. Don't forget them. So the things you need to know about this country in general is you don't have to be scared or something because it's actually really safe there, so you won't get mugged or something. Taxis, buses, food and also motorcycles is really cheap there. But in hotels you pay actually like normal prices, like $10 for a pizza, which is still cheap, but you know, consider that. On the street you get really cheap food. The other things you will see is a lot of Buddhas, a lot of pagodas, because this country is very religious. And because of that, if you're a woman, dress properly. That means you should cover your shoulders and your knees with some clothes. Otherwise, you probably won't enter some pagodas or all of the pagodas. The English of the people is not very good. Some of them can talk English, some of them can't. That's often not that good, but what can you do, right? It's a touristic place. That means they will sell you stuff. And if you try to buy something, I wouldn't suggest buying something, but if you want to buy something, then always negotiate. And my tip here is, if you think this skirt or something like that is like $5 worth and they want to sell it for you for $10, then just go away. They will scream, okay, we do it for $5. The other thing you should know is they will guide you and you just have to trust them. That means you actually don't have any alternatives, but we were like, we have to go over the border, and we just trusted the people there. They actually could get us anywhere else because we didn't really understand them, they didn't really understand us, but they got us to the destination we wanted, so you just have to trust them. A weird thing that you should know about Myanmar is the steering wheel is on the right side and the cars drive also on the right side. I know it doesn't make any sense, but it's fun. Here are my first 5 tips for you. Get some cash, because they almost never accept credit card and not every ATM is really working there. So if you find one, get at least 100,000 of their currency, fiat, and you should be good to go. They will accept dollars, but I wouldn't really suggest paying with dollars because in the end you will pay more as if you would have their currency. There are a lot of dogs, and if you're scared of these dogs, then just raise your arm like this and they will run away. My 4th tip is be prepared of mosquitoes. There are lots of them, so just spray all the stuff all over you. Go at least to 1 beach or more if possible, because we went to 2 beaches and the first one we went was like completely empty. There were no people, just some dogs. On the other beach there were some locals, not much, and the water was super warm and it was such a nice sunset. So yeah, this is a thing you actually should do. If you have the time, then I would suggest getting a tour guide. Ask at your hotel, they will probably get you someone, and it's not really expensive. You will pay like 30,000 kyat, and we had a whole trip with food and drinks for the whole day and also a motorbike. So it was actually really cheap and we saw a lot. Like We saw different markets, we saw companies that produce like cashew nuts and other companies too. And then we saw some pagodas, we went to some beaches, and of course he showed us the best place to see the sunset. So that's a thing I would really consider doing. The second thing I would suggest is going to Yangon. You can do there a lot of things like seeing the big Buddha, the Shwedagon Pagoda, I don't know how to spell it. Other things you can do is see like beautiful parks, and you can also go to this big dragon thing and eat there, but I think it's actually quite expensive there, so consider that. There are a lot of more things you can do there, but we didn't have time, so I can't say anything about this. If you go to Bagan, and you should go to Bagan, you will arrive and you will have to pay 25,000 kyat for a small little pass to visit all the pagodas. Nobody told us this, and nobody will ever ask for this pass, but you will have to pay. There is no way around. If you go to Bagan, then I would suggest planning 3 days in. There are a lot of temples, there are a lot of beautiful pagodas you can see. You can rent an e-bike, which is super fun. And yeah, you should of course do the hot air balloon ride. And here's why. I know it's expensive, but from my experience I compare this to the trip I did in Dubai, where I did also a hot air balloon ride. And compared to Dubai, this was so much better. First of all, there are so much more balloons, which is amazing to watch. Then there is a view that is like the dream come true. You won't see this anywhere else. You will see so many pagodas from above. You will see the whole city from above, and you will also see, of course, the sunrise if you choose the right company. That's the next thing I'm going to talk about. If you consider to do this, then like I said, I would say plan like 3 days for Bagan, because there's a chance that you actually won't start with your hot air balloon. And we had this problem, and that's why we had to stay another night. And so what I would suggest is going with the company Balloons Over Bagan. The reason why is the other companies, they start later. And when we went there at our first day and wanted to do the hot air balloon ride, only the company Balloons Over Bagan started, while the others, they stayed on the ground because the weather conditions were quite bad after some time. They just waited too long, and also you won't see the sunrise if you go with other companies. So in the next day we went with Balloons Over Bagan and everything went fine. And we saw, okay, we see now the sunrise, and the other balloons, they're still on the ground. So yeah, if you go there, then go with the company Balloons Over Bagan. And no, this is not sponsored. The last thing you should probably do is go and see the inlay lake, because we've heard it's super nice, but unfortunately I cannot tell you anything about this. We didn't have the time to visit Inlay Lake, though we wanted so much, because everybody just told us, hey, you have to see Inlay Lake, it's so beautiful. But yeah, we couldn't. If you went there, please write it in the comments, please write us your experience. I will highlight the comment for everybody else. How's the food there, right? Like I already said, if you eat in hotels, you will probably pay like $10 for a pizza or a spaghetti or everything else. If you go outside, the restaurants on the street, they are quite cheap. For example, we had like a meal with 2 coconuts, lots of food and dessert, and we didn't even pay $5. So it's really cheap outside, but be careful, because I don't know if their food is always that good for a Western tourist like me. We didn't have any problems or something like that, but you know, it doesn't always look clean there, so you know. You can order lots of Thai food, like curry, squid and other super spicy things, which I hate. But you also can order like Western food, like burgers or sandwiches. My recommendations for restaurants, at least when you're in Bagan, is like The Moon. It's a vegetarian place and super nice. And also Sharkies. They grow their own vegetables. It's not that expensive and super clean yet, and the service is also super nice. So if you're there, you should go there. But not everything in this country is actually that good. Like, people always tell you probably the super nice stuff, but they will hide also the bad stuff. And I'm gonna tell you the things I actually didn't like there. So the first thing I gotta tell you is like the toilets. Well, it depends, but most of them are just super dirty, and they probably get cleaned only once every 4 years. So consider that. And also, yeah, some restaurants have also clean bathrooms, and all hotels we went had clean bathrooms, so you just gotta look out for this. But sometimes it's just, you have to take what you get. Wi-Fi, well, sorry, but the internet there is just the worst. The infrastructure could be better. That means like the roads are quite bumpy, and I walked there on like the sideway, and there was like a tree in the middle of the way. I didn't understand, so I had to go on the road, which doesn't make sense. The traffic there is just a tornado storm. That means like most people drive their motorcycles like without helmets, and also at night they don't drive with light. I can't understand that because I really couldn't see them. It's super dangerous at night. Myanmar has also a lot of places where you see the pure nature, but there's also a lot of trash in some areas. That means like trash cans are rare, and they just throw their trash, I don't know, on the grass, and they collect it more or less. The other thing is like renting a motorcycle. You probably will do it, but I don't know. We met so many people, and they all told us either they had an accident or the motorcycle broke, and also our motorcycle broke, and so the chance that anything could happen there is like very high. The other thing is there's lots of horning. I don't know why. Like, there are so many rules probably what the horn could mean. For example, when I was driving and they just horned, and I always got mad because I was like, what am I doing wrong, right? The thing is, if they just want to get past you, they just horn before they pass you. So don't get mad like me, just so you know. Other things are is like, if they want to turn left or turn right or just want to go on the street, before they do it, they horn. It's like, I'm coming, so I'm gonna horn before I do anything. So there are probably a lot of more reasons why they horn, but these are the ones I could figure out somehow. So let's come to my conclusion. It's a very beautiful country. The people are super nice. They help you with everything. They're honest. They don't wanna like rub you off, right? The most things there are super cheap. For example, we did a boat tour, and for 2 persons in 1 hour, and it was like $10, which is super duper cheap. It's like a present, right? The cities, they are easy to discover, even though the people there don't really speak English. And if you're there, then plan more than just 1 week if you can, because we did so many things and we still missed out. For example, in Lele, maybe your balloon won't start, so you have to be like 1 or 2 more days in Bagan, so I would consider that. And the other thing is, you should go as soon as possible, because I think actually this place will be in some years overcrowded, because a lot of people will hear about Myanmar, how nice it is, and yeah, now there are not many tourists. It's super nice. It's like you're the only ones there. Well, this is how we felt at least. And yeah, this is the reason why you should probably go. You won't regret. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, like the video, comment your experience in the comment section. And if you want to know how I did the video, which gear I use, which gear I recommend and stuff like that, there is a link in the description, so you can check that out too.